Okay, so you're a skinny guy looking to make the transformation of your life, but you're stuck and you haven't made the transformation yet. Even though you said you were going to do that for the last 6 months, chances are you're overloaded with way too much information and not enough direction. You don't have any idea on where to start and how to progress from there. Let me simplify this process for you. We have way too much information available, all these optimizations that make 1% differences, 0.5% of the differences. People are always fixating, focusing on that, doing the wrong things. Let me simplify the process for you. Let me tell you exactly what's important. In this video, we're gonna follow the old regimen. We're gonna tell you exactly what worked for the old school bodybuilders. I'm gonna tell you exactly what worked for me to see the success that I did. I guarantee you, if you listen and follow these instructions, you will also see success. If you stay disciplined, if you stay driven, if you stay committed to the progress, you will see results. So the first thing to massing up, to bulking up, let's just talk about the diet real quickly, because the diet is probably the most important thing. And I think a lot of people overcomplicate this. They make the wrong decisions. They focus all of their effort and energy on things that just do not matter. Listen, I've seen so many guys who they're like, okay, I'm gonna hop on this regimen. I'm gonna eat all these lean meats. I'm gonna go carnivore diet. I'm gonna drink this many shakes. Listen, all of those things, carnivore diet, lean meats, eating, cutting out the carbs, going keto, optimizing your protein shakes. These are all refinement steps. These are not the things that are the main thing that you need to focus on. The main thing that you need to focus on is eating big. You need to eat big. You need to eat for mass in order to actually gain mass. You need to eat like a man. A lot of you guys fail because you just undereat. You don't eat enough. And you think because you went carnivore diet, or because you didn't eat any carbs, or you focus on lean meats, or you optimize the 1K calorie protein shake. No, none of that matters. What matters is you got to eat big. People back in the day, they weren't overloaded with information, so they just knew this is simple. It was simple in their mind. They just knew they had to eat big to get big. And you can see, if you look back in the old school bodybuilders, you look at their meals, it's like a mukbang, bro. There's just a ton of food, a ton of protein, and they just put that away, and they use that in order to actually become massive. So what do I mean by eating big? Eat whole foods, eat lots of big meals. Rice and chicken, that's like the number one big bulking meal. Are you eating rice and chicken every day? Why? If not, why are you not eating rice and chicken every day? It's a really good tasting meal. It's super calorie dense. It's very high in protein. It's super nutritious, delicious. It's very OP. You should be eating that rice and chicken. We're looking at other foods. We're looking at snacks. Milk, bananas, eggs give you a ton of mass. Back in the day, people always knew, okay, if you want to put on weight very quickly, eat like a bunch of bananas. When I say a bunch, I mean like the actual bunch. They come in bunches. If you eat a bunch of banana, you can put on like 1.5, 2 pounds in one day. So of course, with these kind of hacks, the more you hack your way up to the point of gaining mass, the more likely it is to fail, right? You can imagine, milk, okay? Bananas, okay? Eggs. What do? They make you want to take a shit. If you have too much, they're gonna fuck your stomach up, right? It's the same thing. So protein powder is like that times 3. Protein powder will make your stomach even more fucked. How many of times have you drank a protein shake and then have to immediately shit it out 15 minutes later, right? So your stomach is very important. That's why we focus on whole foods. And it's always better to eat as many calories as you can instead of drinking them, instead of trying to hack your way up to it. You got to just eat big. So in summary, what am I trying to tell you? Eat a lot. You got to eat a lot of whole foods. Eat big meals, rice and chicken, eat your pasta. Make sure you're getting the protein, but yes, include that with the carbs. Eat big. You can't hack your way with lean meats or carnivore diet or protein shakes. You can't hack your way there. Eat really big, and then and when you're looking at snacks, when you're looking at other things to add on, look at the milk, the eggs, the bananas. Those are really, really strong foods. You got your nuts. Snack on your nuts. They're very calorie dense foods. If you eat a lot of them, you're gonna get big. What I'm trying to tell you is, if you want to get big, you got to eat big. If you're spending too much time thinking about this, chances are you're overthinking it and you're actually going to do yourself more harm than good. Just focus on eating a lot. Especially if you're a beginner, especially if you're really skinny, you don't need to optimize it. Trying to optimize it is going to actually be to your own detriment. Find a way to work up that appetite, whether that be, working out really hard, fasting in the mornings, whatever it is. Don't focus, on those little 1%, 0.5% differences, and then minimize the big 80% of the things that's going to actually get you big. Listen, I was like this too when I was a beginner. Because I was like skinny fat. So I wanted to put on as much muscle as possible without gaining any fat. So I was like all about the shakes. I was like, only trying to eat only chicken with very little rice. Like my mom would make me rice and chicken. I put like this much rice and like this much chicken. Looking back on that now, I can just tell you like that was not smart. I would have made way more progress. I just ate properly, bulked up, and gained the mass faster. Because at the end of the day, trying to optimize, all it did was slow me down in the long run. And I really wish I didn't do that. So I'm passing this on to you to try and let you know, don't optimize that much, Just stick to the simple basic diet that's gonna make you big and eat a lot of it. All right, the next thing that we're gonna touch on is the training. Old school bodybuilders, people like me, we didn't overcomplicate our trainings. You don't need to do all kinds of variations. It doesn't matter if you're using a cable or a dumbbell. What matters is just focus on doing the big movements, lift big, get big. Stick to basic, simple lifts. Stick to whatever you like that works the muscle groups that you're trying to work on. Don't worry about the fluff, the extra distractions, the optimized variations. Try to stay more within the compound movements. Try to just focus on overloading, lifting big, staying in the high rep ranges. If you overload and you train exactly like that, you will see growth, guaranteed for sure. There's no way that you're not going to see growth if you stick to those. The reason why people fail is because they're always program hopping. Every 2 weeks is like they want to find a more optimal routine, and they're always switching their variations. This week it's dumbbells, next week it's cables, the next week it's going to be plates, whatever it is. Stick to whatever variation you're doing and just focus on the overload. Don't focus on, the optimal variation based on the pattern of your muscle curvature or whatever it is. I think a common misconception is that a lot of people are thinking that they're going to get stronger because they planned it out properly or because they thought about becoming stronger. You actually don't get stronger or bigger by doing that. You actually get stronger and bigger by training hard and focusing on the overload and putting in the work. The exact optimal variations and movement patterns and whatever else people focus on, program hopping, these things don't actually matter that much at all. I could do upper lower, that's my favorite, but someone else can do push pull legs and someone else can do full body. We can all get to the same destination. It's not about the optimal program or the optimal variation. It's about keeping things simple and focusing on the overload, focusing on the progression. That's what it's about. Personally, I was like this when I was a beginner. I remember especially because biceps was like the big thing I cared about. I was like, I need to have big biceps. So I'd always switch up the movement patterns. I'd always switch up the variations, and like my progress stagnated. And not only that, I felt like I was getting kind of injured because I was switching up the variations at so much that, even though I'm using like heavier and heavier weights, I'm not used to the movement patterns and the stimulus that's applying to my body. So I ended up running into a lot of overuse issues. I ended up running into, joint issues, back problems. What ended up working the best was when I just completely dropped it and just focused on the simple movements, the rowing movements, the pulling movements, and my biceps were the biggest after that, because even though I wasn't directly targeting them, I was keeping things simple, and I was progressively overloading and training as hard as I could. So trust me when I tell you, that's all that matters. The optimal variation, the optimal routine, that's not in the script for you getting jacked. What's in the script for you getting jacked is training hard and staying focused, staying disciplined. All right, last up we got mentality. So I'm gonna stand up because I'm kind of tired of sitting down. So the last thing we need is mentality. Look, we need to have the mentality of like a warrior. Like, we're a warrior and the gym's like the battlefield, or the gym is the place where we go all out. This is the place where we're dedicated and we're gonna be driven. We're gonna be driven to go to the gym. We're gonna show up every time no matter what. It has to be a habit. It has to be like clockwork. The same way you brush your teeth every day, or the same way you put your seatbelt on when you get in the car, right? The same way we do those things is the same way we need to hit the gym. It has to be something that we go to automatically. We don't even think about not going to the gym. It's something that we do automatically. Those old school bodybuilders who in the 70s, they were training really hard, who, those really jacked guys who trained really hard. Do you think they even thought about skipping the gym, or, do they feel too tired to go to the gym today? No, they showed up every day no matter what. So you need to have that same mentality, that warrior mentality of, I'm going to show up no matter what. This is the thing that I'm meant to do For me, it was like part of my identity. Like, okay, the gym is like it's very important to me. You know, I was an athlete, but now I'm not an athlete. So now I have to give my all to the gym. So for me, I didn't even think about ever missing the gym. If you want to see success in the gym, you also have to take it the same way. You have to be extremely consistent and stay regimented in your schedule. You cannot miss the gym. If you're making excuses, if you're missing the gym, if you're not having that mentality of the gym is part of you, it's part of your identity, it's something that you're allowed to miss when you don't feel like it, it's very hard for you to actually see the progress. Chances are you're gonna stay the way you are. You're gonna stay skinny, you're gonna stay weak. Trust me, it doesn't have to be this way. You can make the change. It just takes a little bit of imagination. Try to reinvent your identity, reinvent yourself. Take that leap of faith, create the habit of showing up to the gym no matter what. I promise you it's gonna be life-changing. It's gonna change you in ways that you can't even imagine. Anyways, guys, join me in your transformation. Drop a subscribe for more tips on this channel coming to you soon. Like the video if you did. Comment your thoughts down below. Let me know any questions, concerns, whatever else it is. With that being said, guys, thanks for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.